Hey guys, thanks for tuning in and happy holidays. Check it out. I got some stuff from AERMOO. I believe that's the way you say it. They sent me a wireless charger, their AERMOO M1 high impact resistant, unbreakable and waterproof phone, and also this AERMOO speaker, this on the go kind of USB Bluetooth speaker. So we're going to be checking out all these today, but the main event of this show here is going to be the AERMOO M1 indestructible phone. And we're also going to be doing some drop testing and waterproof testing in the part 2 review of this phone. I'm going to drop it from a drone. So this is going to be super fun. Stay tuned and let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to save the best for last, the AERMOO M1 phone, and we're going to just unbox the other things first. Let's check them out real quick and then we'll get to the main event, the phone. So it looks like AERMOO has some pretty good packaging. It's pretty stylish packaging here. Here's the wireless charger. It's just using an inductive charger, and I'm thinking that it's going to be able to charge the M1 phone. So here we go, wireless charger. It's just basically a plate. Of course, the way wireless technology works is there's a coil in here, and as long as the other end on the phone has a coil and it can take wireless charging, when you put those two surfaces close enough together, you get the charging through wireless. And down here is our charging cable, and really all it is a micro USB cable on one end and just a regular USB on the other end, and that's where you're going to plug it in. Looks like they did give me the Chinese/Euro plug, so I'm not even going to be able to really use this, I don't think. Yeah, this is not an adapter. Anyway, that's the wireless charger. I'm going to put this to the side over here, and let's get into the speaker. So the AERMOO V1 speaker, it looks pretty cool. It's got a clip here. They actually show somebody climbing with it, and it's pretty light. It's really light. We're going to test out the sound on this real quick after we unbox the M1 phone, and we're going to link it all up and also test that charger with the M1 phone. So just opening the box up, really nice little small speaker, and we open it up and we have a couple of plugs on the bottom and also our manual here. Okay, so manual, USB charge cable, micro USB on one side, and then we have a audio jack with two ends to plug in. If you wanted to plug in a device hardwired, you can. And there we go. So check out this little speaker. This thing is pretty nice looking. It seems pretty rugged. I didn't see anything about it being waterproof, but it looks like it might be splash proof. Let me just check the box here real quick, and yes it is. So wireless connectivity, IP6 waterproof. Kind of dunk it for a short amount of time in just a couple of feet of water. Hi-Fi, 5 watt times 2 speakers, hands-free calls, so it's got a microphone on top. That's the auxiliary jack here, which we're going to use this plug for if you wanted to plug in other devices aside from them being wireless. Micro SD, so there's a micro SD card you can pop in there to play as well. If you want to just to use it as a standalone player without connected to any phone, you can actually insert a micro SD card. That's kind of cool. 2200 milliamp hour battery, loud superior quality audio, energy saving auto sleep. Okay, so it turns itself off. So that's pretty cool. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at it before we turn it on and try it out when we unbox that M1 phone. So very rigid here. Look at this. This is rubberized coating all the way around the bottom and the sides. And this here looks like our little port that we're going to be able to plug in a micro SD cards like it said in the instructions on the box. So a little bit tough to open, but that's because it's sealing it and making it waterproof. So that's pretty cool. So there is our, let me get my little pointer here. Pop this open again. And let's see what we got here. So there's our micro SD jack, or micro USB rather, to charge it with the cable they included. There is a micro SD card slot. Awesome. So if you want to load up a bunch of songs on the card, pop it in there. You can have a standalone MP3 player. There's our auxiliary in, so it's not going to be waterproof when you have that auxiliary in, so be careful of that. And also there's a reset switch there in case you have problems binding it again with your phone or device. Make sure that's pushed in really good, and that will be waterproof. Over on the top here, we've got a little lanyard here, a little clip that you can clip on. Doesn't look like it's going to take much weight, but it should hold its own weight, that's for sure. And a really nice and durable, really hardcore rubber strap here that is holding it onto that clip. Anyway, the main stuff on top here, so we have volume plus and minus. We have our USB and a little phone there, or actually that's Bluetooth and a little phone, so that's probably binding. And there's our play and pause button and our power button, so pretty neat. This looks like where the sound is coming out of this side with the AERMOO logo on it. So cool, I'm gonna set that on the side, guys. So we got the wireless charger, AERMOO, we have the little V1 speaker. Let's dive into the M1 and really take a look at this thing and see what it's all about. I've heard good things about this as far as durability and being waterproof. So just unboxing it, there's the phone itself. And this looks like the instruction manual. So it's in this, tucked away in here. Wow, they actually give you a cleaning cloth and a screen protector. It looks like a high quality one, an extra one in case you scratch that up. And here's our instruction manual and stuff. Okay, everything else in the box, let's see what we get. We have a micro USB cable for charging, of course. This is a pretty thick cable too. That's definitely not going to be breaking anytime soon. It's very durable. One little bag with 2 screws. Not sure what those are for just yet, but we'll find out in just a second. A little flathead screwdriver. And the only other thing on this side is another Chinese Euro plug. So definitely can't use this in the USA, but that's the version I'm getting here with that plug. Okay, let's take a look at the phone. So sliding the protective little sleeve off here and check this thing out. So we have all the information here right on top. This is just kind of a protective cover here. And it's telling us what the buttons do. Look at this, wow. So aluminum, really high quality machined aluminum. Hopefully you guys can see how nice this is looking. I know the brightness is up a little bit because the day is getting a little dark, but look at this, really nice. It's telling you it even has a PTT for like a walkie-talkie function. I guess you can use that if your carrier supports that. Power button, volume up and down. It's giving us a little bit of internal where you can put your SIM and your micro SD card in there. We've got our camera button, so we can push that for camera shots. There's an SOS button as well. That's interesting. So if you can figure that up, I guess you can set it to send an SOS if you get in trouble. So pulling it over to the back here, and this is where this thing shines. It just has such a rugged industrial look to it. And it's all encased in its own case. This is the phone itself. There's no extra case it's in. It's just ruggedized in this crazy nice aluminum case. So there we go, 21 megapixel camera. We got our flash up top here. It looks like there's also an IR sensor for focus. And look at these. So this is what we're going to use the screwdriver for, to open this up and put in our SIM card and our micro SD card in that little panel here. And that's going to seal back up with a rubber seal, so we want to make sure that we're screwing that in tight. Don't forget, this is all going to be waterproof too, so we're going to be wanting to close all these ports and make sure that these are all going to be closed up when we are, you know, doing our rugged tests and our waterproof tests. That was a little bit difficult to open that. But there's our micro USB connector to charge and also pull files off if we connect it to our computer. Of course, push that thing in really nice and tight and snug, or else it won't be waterproof anymore. So this does have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, it looks like. And so we can open this up for the use of a plug-in headphone, but keep in mind that is going to make it not waterproof anymore if we do use this. A little bit difficult to open, but it did open, and there's our 3.5 millimeter jack down in there to plug in your headphones. But I'd recommend definitely, since this is such a rugged phone, try to keep everything wireless and do not use and open up any of these things if you want to keep it as dustproof and waterproof as possible. So let's take off this little protective sleeve here, just pulling that open there, taking that off, and check that out. There's our screen. And that's pretty much all there is to it. It already comes with a protective screen protector on top already put on. and they give us that extra one in the box. Without further ado, let's put in our SIM card and a micro SD card. I'll open this up and then we'll boot it up and see how it looks. Okay guys, so my everyday driver phone is the LG G6 phone, and so I'm going to take out the the SIM card out of this guy, and I'm going to put it in the other one. So remove the SIM card, and there's the SD card. I think I'm going to leave the SD card in there, but here's the SIM card. I'm going to take this out, and first thing we need to do is open up this back compartment. So we take the screwdriver and we're going to unscrew this guy. It's not very tight, it's pretty loose. I want to make sure maybe we crank that down a little bit more than this is out of the box when we put the cards in here. So this whole thing is just kind of a plate that pulls off. That's just an aluminum piece of plate. There's no sealing or anything on top of the plate. The seal is actually down here underneath the plate. You can see that rubber seal there all the way around. So be very careful with that. And here we go. So we have our SIM card and also our SD card here. So that just pops open there. Looks like this is just going right in like that, clamping down like this, and we're sliding it backwards to lock it in. There we go. Okay guys, so a little bit of finding out. There's like 3 ways to put the SIM card in, but it seems like for the one I have, we want to slide it in on the top deck. There's 2 tiers here. You can put it in 2 different ways, or 3 different ways actually. You can see this little picture here. So if you put it in long ways down with a notch on the right and slide it into the top deck, it seemed to be working. So I'm going to close this thing back up. The door here, the waterproof door, make sure we have the 2 tabs there. You can see go in on the bottom first, kind of notch in there, and then we want to push over the top. And we want to screw these screws in pretty darn tight so that we don't get any water leakage. So just holding it shut, and we're going to give this a nice little crank down here. Okay, so I'm just going until they actually, the screws actually have like a stop, and that seems to be tight enough to seal that whole thing up. Cool, so we should be good to go. Now that I have all these fingerprints all over the screen, let's wipe this guy off and turn it on and see what we get. So holding in the power button, and there we go, AERMOO. Okay, so this is the boot up process. And there we go, so here's the first screen that it boots up into. Micro SIM card actually took. So you see on the top there it's saying 4G, and we got signal. So we know that that was the correct way to put it in. And we're gonna just set up as new. So I'm going to configure this, just the basic Android setup, and then we'll get to the user interface and I'll show you just what it looks like. Okay, so there's some other stuff we can set up, but I'm just going to set up all that later. We're just going to go into the main screen here. And there we go. So we got a welcome. Hello AERMOO, to make and manage your phone calls, always allow. Access location, always allow. And let's go. Okay, cool. There we go, guys. Do we have any volume here? Okay, looks like the volume's already up a little bit. Alright, so there's the main screen we're getting into. You can see that we have just kind of some of the basic Android apps here. Anyways, guys, it's starting to get a little bit dark, but I just did want to try this little speaker if I can real quick. So to turn this speaker on, we'll go ahead and just press power. See a blue light there, and we're hearing the tone. And this is where we want to connect to the Bluetooth. So we'll find our Bluetooth here. I'm going to go into more settings. And now it's kind of looking for available devices nearby. And there it is. So it found the AERMOO V1. I know this is kind of bright, but it's just saying AERMOO V1. And I'm pairing right now. And we're having, there we go. So just basic Bluetooth pairing. We'll go out of this and let's try to play some music. While it's downloading and installing, let's just take a look at some of the options up here. So we have all the regular Android options. We have our battery percentage. We have our cell phone or Wi-Fi. Do not disturb. We have a flashlight. There we go. You can see that flashlight lit up. Just turned it on. Flashlight right there. Turn that back off. We have the auto rotate. We have our USB connection here. airplane mode, location, then we have another screen over here, battery saving mode, screen recording, and S capture. So that's cool, built-in screen recording now. This one's a little bit interesting. It has like this apps drawer right in the center here, and then the apps are all like in alphabetical order. So I'm scrolling down trying to find Pandora. I kind of like that. It's like an alphabetical little drawer there. So let's go on to Pandora and let's see how this thing sounds with some music. Let's go ahead and just play some electronic radio real quick and see how this speaker sounds. All right. There we go. So it's blasting pretty loud here. Adjusting the volume. Whoa. Okay, so first little bit of a con here was this button right here, the top button, just got a little bit stuck and then it started to blast the volume. So be careful of pressing the buttons here. They might get stuck a little bit. Just got stuck again. Okay, but the speaker does sound good. Basically a waterproof speaker that sounds pretty good, very small. You're not going to get incredible sound out of it, but it does sound good for the size it is. Last thing we need to do, guys, is check out this little wireless charger. I know this is kind of getting a little bit long, but I wanted to show you all three of these guys before in the next video we go and we drop test this phone from a quadcopter and also dunk it in some water. So just plugging in the wireless charger here, and we're going to plug this into a power jack. Okay, so let's see if this works. So I just have a LG little power bank here. Probably not the best thing to do, but I'm just going to plug into it, turn it on, and let's see what happens with this wireless charger. And we're just going to set this guy right on top. I have no idea if this is going to work, but let's try it out. And there we go. So it actually sensed it and it's charging it now. Cool. Let me zoom into that there so you can see what's going on. Right here on the bottom it's saying charging. Cool. So in actuality this thing is working. It looks like it might be a little bit sensitive. If I pull it up, it's not going to charge here. So you actually have to push it so it's right there. So you want the phone to be a little bit more towards the bottom, sitting on the charger. Just like that. You see where it's at, and it's actually charging, so that's awesome. So the whole kit is working with this phone, and I think that's going to wrap up this review of all this stuff, initial unboxing, inspection, and setup of all this stuff, and the test of the speaker and the Wi-Fi charging module here, the wireless charging module. You know what these screws are? I've just found out that they are just extra screws for the backing here. So if you lose those screws, at least you have 2 extra. And don't forget to check out my next video. I'm going to drop this M1 phone from a quadcopter. We're going to drop it into, I don't know what kind of surfaces, maybe grass, concrete, a couple other surfaces, and also dunk it in some water and see just how waterproof this is. So hang in there, stay tuned, and I will have the links to this stuff down in the description, so check it out, and also the upcoming videos will be linked in there when they're ready. Anyway guys, thanks for tuning in and thanks for watching this cool little review. See you in the next one.